Hope. Hope is a funny thing. As an emotion, it's something that only exists in contrast. It's not like love that might come and go. It's not like fear that you have. It's something that's always inside of you. It's just not always awake. It's only in times that we need it, in times of contrast, that hope arises. It's only when you really want something that you don't have, or when the situation is really bad, that you can have hope. But it's then that you can also lose hope. We're Ido and Zita, and we saw people with hope and lots of people who've lost their hope during our storytelling trip visiting Syrian refugees in Lebanon last February. The word refugee has almost become like a buzzword in the last couple of years. And we wanted to see what they lived like, but not in Europe, where we're from, but closer to their homes. So we decided to go to Lebanon.
Lebanon, we really didn't think anything of it at first. In fact, we didn't really know anything about Lebanon. But when we started our journey, we soon realized the complexity of the country. It's a country of contrast. Wherever you see, it is torn apart. It is crazy rich and incredibly poor. It's very old and also very brand new. This country houses over 1 million Syrian refugees, but they kind of stopped counting years ago, so we in fact really don't know. 1 million, this is over 1/4 of the population of the country, and it's a really tiny country. 1/4. You can kind of imagine what the impact on a country this is. They can't handle it, it's clear. Economically, they're suffering from the war in Syria because one of their main sources of income was transportation through Syria, and now all of the borders are closed. And also politically, they really haven't recovered yet from their own conflict back in the 90s.
As a country that's 1/4 refugee, there are tents everywhere you look. And that's another odd thing that we found, because we may be somewhat unaware. We expected to go into these big camps like Al-Satari, you know, thousands of white big UNHCR tents surrounded by a gate, just your typical idea of a refugee camp. But no, in Lebanon, there's lots of regions where you have camps everywhere you look. So you look to your left and there's 2 or 3 tents besides the road, and then on the other side there's 10 tents, and then all of a sudden there's a camp of 100 tents. And all of these camps are on private property. So the families are depending on the landowner's kindness. So it's the landowners who decide if they want to rent out their land based on merit, or they want to see it as a situation they can profit from. And unfortunately, we spoke to many refugees where the landowners choose the latter option. So it's often that families have to pay $100 a month to live in a tent that's still leaky. And then they have to pay thousands of dollars to maintain their tent, to keep it from leaking. And they still face the risk of being evicted without any further notice. So adding to that, healthcare in these camps is often non-existent. So life really isn't that easy for this group of refugees.
The ones that suffer the most are the kids. In Shatila camp, in the center of Beirut, made up of high apartment blocks. We actually felt scared for the very first time during our trip. Run by gangs and outside of Lebanon control, many kids turn to criminality or start working from the age of 6. Like this girl, like Shahed, this girl sells Kleenex on the street every day. Whereas in most tented camps, other problems arise. All of the sewer systems are open, like this. Kids play in it, they lose their toys, they pick it up again, and again. Add to this the fact that all of these Syrian refugees are illegal. They're illegal immigrants. So why is that? Most of the war refugees in Lebanon are called national guests. This means they are expected to leave whenever the conflict ends, if ever. So during that time, they will never be able to call Lebanon their home.
So even if they've had this temporary house, not home, for 7 years, they're still illegal, so they can't officially work. So they have to find different ways to get a job, even if this means working in a factory for $2 a day, sometimes even forced by your landowner to do this. There was one woman in this camp that we spoke to who didn't want to be in a picture, who had to work in the landowner's factory every day for $2 a day if she and her 2-year-old daughter wanted to live on the camp. And when we spoke to her, we got really shocked, because this is a woman who's only 26 years old, and she has lost complete hope for herself. She was talking as if she wasn't even there. It was like she was already dead. And everything she did was only for her daughter, because her own future wasn't going to go anywhere anyhow. All she wanted to do was have a better future for her daughter.
So you got to understand that all she wants, the only thing she wants in her life, is her daughter to have a better life. And a better life starts with education. But as most of them are actually illegal, the parents can't work, and the kids can't legally go to school or get a diploma. Luckily, there are lots of initiatives where people open up their schools after hours to get some education. This work is all done by volunteers. These volunteers are delivering great work. Most of them aren't even teachers, but they're just doing it because they feel that it is necessary. But still, they can get some education, but still they cannot prove it by getting any form of a diploma. So, where is the hope?
And as horrible as this situation seems and actually is for lots of them, kids will always be kids, so they won't experience everything of it. They play, they have fun, they laugh and they run, just like kids do. And when we visited Shatila camp, we were accompanied by the neighborhood kids. And we asked them what they wanted to become when they grew up. So these are some of their answers.
Shatila is a camp set up for Palestinian refugees. It was originally built to house roughly 2,000 refugees from Palestine. Now it houses over 25,000 people, 25,000, most of them Syrian refugees. Laws that exist outside don't really seem to count on the inside. Families are incredibly poor, rent is very expensive, and many children turn to criminality or start working at a very young age. Life for them is kind of hopeless.
But they still dream big. I mean, look at what they want to become. Some are very specific, and some are a little bit less specific. There's one in a second that doesn't know, but she's 4. But what we love most about it, how big these dreams are and how probably realistically unattainable these dreams are for most of these kids. We loved seeing how specific, how broad, and how selfless most of their dreams are, how they want to become doctors and teachers and how they want to do something good.
Every child has hope. It just comes naturally. But we have come to learn to assess, to take other factors into account, and to be more critical. We've come to learn to let hope sleep, or even to lose it.
And hope is one of the strongest emotions. We believe that hope can set into motion many different things. Hope can make you do things that you never thought you could, and it can actually make a difference in the world. And we might not always need hope, but these people do. And it's that we just want you to realize. Because one of the most important things, if we want to make a difference in the world, is awareness.
If we can all feel their situation, understand the difference to ours, maybe we can feel some hope for them. Maybe we can make a difference to their lives. And maybe, just maybe, we can help those who have lost their hope to get it back. We hope Shahed becomes the doctor she dreams of being. Thank you.
Thank you.